Hello, hello, lovely people. Welcome to another Kubefirst Live. Always excited to be here. Even if, let's be honest, this one is a little bit early for me. I know it's 10 a.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. my time, but I don't know. I feel like I didn't really start my day and like right away in the live stream. And you know what? Still good. Love it. We're gonna have fun. That's going to be an interesting topic today. And we have someone new with us, someone who joined the live stream for the first time. Hi, Simon.
Hello, everybody.
Who are you?
Well, I'm Simon. I work for Kubefirst. I'm a senior engineer, and I'm based in the UK. So it's not early for me. It's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I've been on for hours. Yeah, I've been at Kubefirst since John and Jared found me in June, I think it
The
was.
gutter?
That feels better. Yeah. Well, it was LinkedIn, but if you want to call it the gutter, that's fine.
That's awesome. Thanks for joining the live stream. As you probably know from now, if you're not new to the live stream, we are trying now once in a while to bring other faces to the live stream. Like we're doing that with guests, but I mean like internal employees, like people working at Construct, because except Simon, we have an amazing team at Construct. And no, Simon also. I'm gonna be a little bit bitchy today. Simon and I have like a frenemy relationship. We love each other, but we're a little bit bitchy toward each other. So that should be a fun episode. But no, seriously, we have an amazing team, and we want to, highlight the amazing people that work for us, like the engineers, and also the non-technical people. I would like to find a ways to do shows where we're going to be able to bring non-engineers to the team because they are doing as much for Construct than the engineering team. And obviously, we have John here. How is life, John?
Life is good, Fred. I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm in dangerous territory. This is like my very first conversation of the day. I
know.
Half a cup of coffee in me. Feeling a little rough around the edges, but here we are, live on screen anyway.
I know. And after a busy week, last week some of us were at KubeCon. That was an amazing and weird thing, at least for me, and I think it was for the team too, because that was the first time we were at KubeCon, and we were not sponsoring. We did not have a booth. We were not speaking. We were attendees. That was a little bit. I don't know how to say that. I feel super privileged to say that, but like that was a little bit weird. That was my first conference as an attendee for the last, I think, 10 years. I was overwhelmed with freedom and not always known what to do with my time.
Yeah, no, I know. By the time you get to day 4, untethered, you're just kind of like, well, I guess we can talk to every booth again.
Yeah. What was very weird was seeing Fred's tweets, because he kept on posting tweets with ex-colleagues of mine.
I know. I mean, like that was a great time though. I'm saying it's weird because like that was the first conference since forever that like I didn't have. It's not true. I was going to say I didn't have anything to do. It was not true. I have some business goals that I set to myself. Trying to find like new potential guests for the live stream, connect with new partners and influencers, and like just being my social self. So it was nice to meet people that I did not know at all, or meet people that I know on the internet, and finally had the chance to meet in person, or even like old friends that I didn't see for a while. So no, it was a great week. I'm not saying it was not a great week. I was just saying like it's a little bit weird because that was my first conference since forever that like I was not speaking or doing anything at all. So, but that was a great experience. KubeCon is always a great conference, and it's nice to see like all the other cloud native enthusiasts because we're a team. We're into cloud native. This is our business. This is our passion. But we work as a company. It's nice to see like that there are other people out there, and we can connect with them. So that was a great week.
Yep.
Yeah. And we have who's that cloud native club guy?
That guy?
Yeah, I think we know that guy. How's these guys? Some of my favorite human. I like that. And sorry about the FOMO for KubeCon. I can understand that. I was not at the last one, and I had like a big FOMO, a fear of missing out, because I was not there. So, yeah, but seriously, it was nice. So on that note, we have Simon with us. It's for a reason, not because he's a good-looking person, but because we're going to
But
talk.
not only because he's not a good-looking person.
No, I stay. I keep my words, not because he is. uh, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about one of the work we've done recently within the Kubefirst platform, and we're gonna talk about a new cloud that
Yeah.
we added to the Kubefirst platform. Excited about it. It's been a while that we didn't have a new cloud, and for reasons, like there are so many things to do with a platform like that. But it was nice to see like all Simon's support bear fruits, and now having the third of the three big cloud part of Kubefirst. Yeah, I need to.
That is exciting. That I can't tell you how many times I have to hear.
Sorry, I cut you, John.
Oh, it's like radio 2 in the morning. This.
Yeah, no, you know when you have to convince people to adopt your platform for a living, you have to hear about the reasons that the answer is no. And Azure was one of the reasons the answer was no way too often. Drove us nuts. Frankly, we didn't honestly think that the Kubernetes community would be so deep in the Microsoft space. But over and over and over again, from from going down to Tampa for a couple events for the Navigate conferences, to the KubeCon conferences, just all the time we're hearing about Azure, and we eventually decided that we would give up and support Azure. We're listening. We hear you guys. Kubernetes is very prevalent in that space, and we're very proud to be adding support for the last of the big three clouds to the platform. Simon was instrumental in making that possible, and yeah, I'm excited to sort of put some of his hard work on screen today and show our audience how the Kubefirst platform works inside the Azure cloud. It turned out to be just like all the other cloud platforms, just a couple different words, for the way that they organize their cloud objects. So excited for the outcome, and very excited to start getting feedback on how it works for our audience. If you're an Azure shop and you're looking for a fast track way to get Kubernetes, I think that this is just a no-brainer way to get a portable platform in that cloud. So we're looking for our first users, and we would love to, engage with you and figure out if there's any ways to turn the screws or whatever. But yeah, let's get some Azure up on screen. Let's
There's one thing actually, just going back to, there's a comment that's just been put in. Cloud Native who has said German companies heart Azure, and one thing I've noticed is that Azure is very sticky with certain types of businesses. Now I live near the city of Birmingham in the UK, and historically Birmingham has been a big Azure native space. Never actually worked for a company in Birmingham doing Azure, by the way, just coincidence. But what you find is that engineers often go, "Oh, we want to use AWS because engineers want to use something new and shiny." But companies are very often, in my experience, companies are very much like, "Oh, we are Microsoft Gold partners. We're using Node.js, we're using Golang, no matter what we're using from a programming language." But in terms of actually from the business point of view, they can only use Azure, and particularly there's a German cloud in Azure. In the way I think there's a Chinese version, there is a US military version, and there's also a German cloud version, as well as the normal public cloud as well. So it's a very sticky cloud in certain types of businesses. So I think it's, certainly for our products and for any other open source products as well, Azure is a good one to support for business growth.
Yeah,
Right on.
and there's also like I call this the .NET tribe, like the pure Microsoft users. I mean, I was working like Azure was created before I was working at Microsoft, but like it started to be a real quote unquote real platform when I was at Microsoft. And AWS was way more advanced as a cloud platform and a better product, if I want to be honest. I mean, Azure was new, and when I was talking to like the Microsoft lovers, none wanted to use AWS. They were waiting for Microsoft to like provide a better product, which was a little bit of a pain for me because my audience when I was at Microsoft were open source developers, were not like Microsoft folks, and we barely had like OK PHP support. Within the Azure product, so there was a little bit of pain in the ass. So I'm happy to see like all the work that have been pour into Azure. I remember, I mean, at a company event where it was like only employees, and it was Ballmer, the CEO at the time, and I remember him said like, "Hey, we need to stop focusing only on Windows. We need to like put a lot of effort." It was called Windows Azure at the time, so we need to put a lot of effort in Windows Azure if we want to survive as a company, because that was the future. So. Happy to see that like there's a healthy platform right now that people use. And as far as I know, also like there's a lot of startups that use Azure because they also have like great offerings, great credits for startups. So it's also a great way, depending on how you build the architecture of your application, like it's easy for you to jump from one cloud to the other, like to get the free credits. So on that note, I would love to see, unless Simon, you have like more things to share about Azure, I would love to see what we have done right now. So it's Azure is in beta right now. So we don't have yet all the functionalities that we have on the other cloud. So we just added the Azure support. But as John was saying, we would love for folks, after we've shown you like what we implemented so far, we would love for Azure folks or people that just want to try it, even if you're not a Azure users, but if you are, that would be even better. If you want to try it, beta test it, give us feedback about the good, the bad, and the ugly, so we can improve it and make it, put it the seal of approval, like the construct seal of approval, to move it to production.
I mean, what Fred was saying there, I would like to get Azure out of beta within about 3 months. I don't see any reason why we should be having this languishing in beta for too long. Okay, so I'm going to sort of, I don't quite know how best to do this demo actually. So, John, Fred, please give me feedback. I've already set up a cluster this morning. So this is actually one of the things that so my history, as an engineer, is I've been a classic open source developer my entire career. My first language was PHP about 400 years ago. Then I accidentally moved over into Node.js. And then once I was in Node.js, I started accidentally working in cloud native stuff. And then I been doing that. And that's where I am now. So I have a Linux machine at home. I've not used a Windows machine in about 15 years, which is brilliant when my dad says, "Simon, can you help fix my printer?" I say, "Dad, talk to my brother. He's got a Windows machine. I don't know how it works." It's not quite true, but he won't be watching this live stream, so I won't get away with it. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I did a job and went through all the interview process, and they said, "Great." And then I got on the first day, and they said, "Oh, by the way, we need you to be an Azure expert. Are you one?" I said, "I've never even used it." So I spent the next couple of months becoming an Azure expert, so that they could work me out. And one of that, I could do the job for them, and that was great. One of the things I love about Azure personally is resource groups. It's not because they do anything fancy. They're just a logical separator of resources. But it does mean, unlike in Azure, AWS or GCP or any of the other clouds, if you just want to destroy everything because you don't know where it is, you can just go, and then you can click on it, click destroy resource group, and everything goes. And you're not paying for anything else. And it's one of those things that just makes my life as an engineer so much simpler.
That is an enormous differentiator. I mean, anyone that's done cluster creation for a living knows the number of resources that go along with that.
Yeah.
And when things go boom, you've got a big mess to clean up. And being able to just have a one-stop shop to get rid of that mess is awesome.
And I need to say, like, maybe it's the cynical person in me that like think that like why not whole clouds have those features. Like, I mean, like it's not a complicated as an engineer, I can say I don't think it's a
I don't
complicated
think there's any
feature
reason why
to
all the
had. And yeah, the only reason I see is the cynical part of me, meaning that like, hey, you know what, you're gonna forget some resources here and there, and like, yeah, we're gonna bill you for those things. So
no,
I'm
that
happy to
wouldn't
see that
happen,
kind of
would it?
feature. Say that
That
again?
wouldn't happen. They would
No,
never
no,
do
that
that.
would not. No, nobody would do that.
I mean, again, this is just another way this works. So when you create all your resources, the SJ Azure demo is the resource group where everything was created. And then this MC, which I think is managed cluster. I don't know what MC stands for, but this is all of the resources that get created as sort of an ancillary resources across it. So you've got your load balance, you've got your public IP address, you've got virtual machine set, etc., etc. So that's everything there. And of course, if you delete that one, because the resources that are requiring those don't exist, these resources get deleted as well. So it is, you can really do it very easily. But that's just an aside. If you're watching this and you're part of a cloud and going, we need to architect things, bring in resource groups. It makes life so much easier for everybody. In terms of the actual Kubefirst stuff we've got, it's actually very, very straightforward. We have our Kubernetes cluster, which is where all the magic happens. We have a virtual network, and that's actually about it. We've also got here our log analytics workspace. So any of the logs that are generated from your cluster get stored in there as well. That's just the thing that it's even though there's other ways of keeping your logs and getting your logs out of your cluster as well. That's just sort of a thing that most Microsoft Azure engineers will be used to because it's in there. So you can go and look at that. There's probably not actually a lot of logs in there because this cluster's only been up a couple of hours. But that's there. Okay, so we're into the Kubefirst application.
So Simon,
One thing.
just Steve was saying, like, for information, like the MC prefix really stand for managed cluster.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that. Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we're on to our Kubefirst cluster now. Kubefirst console now. Now, one thing that I should point out is this is true beta in the sense of this is not yet publicly released as a binary. So if you do want to do this, you do have to get your main branch and run this in the development stack. We do have all of that, how it's run in our contributing MD file. So it is a little bit hacky. Fred and I are hoping to get a 2.8 release out in the next week or two. So that will be out, and that will have all of the Azure stuff in there. There's just a couple of little things that we haven't quite finished off yet as well. So if you are going to be doing it, you will have to run it from your main branch for the moment until we get 2.8 out. And then we've got our normal cluster in terms of a normal Kubefirst cluster. We have our management cluster, which is what we saw in our Azure page. That's the SJ Azure demo there. And then we have a virtual cluster here, which is just where we're going to put some development stuff on there as well. Not actually a lot on there yet. There's just an instance of Flappy K-Ray, but that's because I like playing it, and I'm still can only get about 4 points because I'm rubbish at it.
That's a nice game.
Yeah, it's a very good game. What else can I show you in terms of this? Give me some indications of what you want to see, Fred.
I see that you've got a virtual cluster there. Is that the scope of what we have so far with Azure?
Yes. That's a very good question, that, John. Thank you. Yeah, I'm currently working on the physical clusters at the moment. There's been a couple of little hiccups I've had with that have meant that that's just been a little bit delayed. It's one of the reasons why we haven't released the 2.8 stuff yet. So we can only create virtual clusters at the moment. But the physical clusters are coming very shortly. The fundamental problem is the actual stuff works, the cluster creates, everything gets deployed to it, but the console hasn't yet been, the work on the console hasn't yet been done. So it's basically, you can click the button and the physical stuff that works there, but it's not yet wired up because just little few odds and sods delays in what we're doing. So if you want to create a virtual cluster, sorry, it's just exactly as you would normally, and that goes off and that gets put into our Argo CD, and that will create another virtual cluster in the next 5 minutes or so.
And then for the Azure audience that might not be familiar with Kubefirst yet, when Simon's showing us creating these clusters, you might think that like this is making API calls directly with SaaS services or something like that. But it's not. This is all a GitOps-driven implementation. Simon, can you show us, like, for example, when you created that cluster right there, like that it creates a Git commit and how that's like wired up in Argo CD to react?
Yeah. Let me just log in. Okay, so this is. So for those people who don't know what GitOps is, I'll give a quick down and dirty description of it. GitOps is a declarative approach to deploying applications. What that means is that we deploy, in this case, a bit of YAML as a Git commit, and Argo CD, which is, no, it's beautiful, my light thing, Frederick. Once we've got our Git commit that's been pushed into a particular part of the repository that we want, Argo CD, which is what we use to do the deployments, that takes that new change and says, right, okay, I've noticed a difference. I'm going to make it so that there is no difference there. In this case, we've just created a new virtual cluster. So if we just look at the history here, as you can see, the most recent commit about 2 or 3 minutes ago, a minute ago, yes, was this committing workload cluster prod repo content. And then we look at what's in here, and there's lots of things in here which basically describes the virtual cluster that we want to do. In this case, it's using the Loft vCluster deployment. So that creates an instance of K3s that runs on the cluster. It connects through, and our Argo CD is connected so that that's treated as an external cluster that we can manage.
Very cool.
It's got a separate cert manager instance. It's got a separate ingress, etc. So you can run it as a completely ordinary cluster.
Sorry, I was not laughing at what you were saying. I was laughing at Steve's comment that he shared after I shared about your GitHub light team. It was like, it's actually Arabic, like Simon's light mode is the reason I wear blue light blocking glasses.
It's all right.
Thanks, Steve.
I know where
I love you, man.
it is at the moment, so I can go and stop him from saying that. Yeah, so as is the perfect thing with all demos, this is now got a degraded function. It might still be working. Just check. Magical things are happening in the background.
Yeah, I know the V clusters can take a hot second to sort themselves out in terms of syncing that initial secret that it needs to connect to everything. Usually catches the 4th out of 5 try.
Yeah, but this is everything that we've just deployed. So in the time it's taken us to make this effective 2-click command to deploy a new cluster, the Kubefirst application has created, what is it, about 20 or so resources in the background, and that's then being applied automatically. So all this is from a user point of view, it's just a couple of button clicks in order to do that. If you want to then go and do anything, because it's GitOps, you can then make changes to this repository if you want to make any changes on various things. So if actually we do a live change as well while we're...
Let's play. Let's do it.
I like doing a live change. Because what I want to do is I want to do a second instance of Flappy K-Ray. I'm going to run it on there as well. So we're going to need to change the URL for it. So I'm going to use my erstwhile employer's site because it makes it nice and easier in order to do this. Does anybody from Gitpod talk? Hello here? Hello. I've still got my G. Try one.
It's a very nice.
I never expected to actually do it like this. So this is real demo stuff as well. What else get the feeling this sounds like Barry Manilow's in town?
we, we were in a meeting yesterday with someone who did a demo about the product, and we were waiting for something to spin up. And Sean was like, "Fred, put the elevator music." I'm like, "John, we're not in the live stream. I don't have that option right now. It's just like a regular meeting."
Fred just has to carry around elevator music
I
with me.
know. I know. Did I tell you that also at some point, John and Jared they were giving a talk. I think it was at Civo Navigate, and they were also waiting for something to deploy. And John was like, "Fred, do you have the elevator music?" And I just look at my phone quickly, and I played the elevator music while it was giving a talk live at a conference. I was in the room, so now I always have like the elevator music ready with me.
Never misses a beat, this guy.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to change the URL that our Flappy K-Ray instance is hosted on as well. So in order to do this, I have to make two changes. Anybody who's done any Kubernetes for more than about 30 seconds will know exactly what I've done. I've changed the host and I've changed the TLS certificate. And that's all I'm going to do. And all I've done that is I've pushed it, and that's done. If you were going to do this in a production environment, you'd go through all your pull request process, and Fred would come and criticize it and say, I don't want that to be the URL, but Fred's not here in this instance, so we're going to completely bypass Fred.
Never do that. Do that at your own risk.
If you know Fred in a personal capacity, bypass him every single time. And this to speed things up as well, I'm going to refresh our Argo CD instance, so it picks up the changes from there. It does it about depending on how it's configured, I think it's about every 5 minutes on this application, but that I think can be configured as well. And that's already deployed. Now, one thing I'm going to talk about here is the DNS in the way Azure works. Everything we've got here, these are all of the DNS zones that we host. As with all of our Kubefirst products, we support the native cloud implementation as well. So Route 53 if it's AWS, it's DNS zones if it's Azure, whatever it is in other clouds. We also support Cloudflare as well. That's all in for Azure out of the box. But because I've just changed the URL, we've got to let that know. So we go to our Azure demo here, and we use an application called external DNS. So that's configured through. So we don't need to actually go and manually change anything. So I'm just going to look at Flappy K-Ray. So our ingress hasn't picked up that change just yet. So let's go and have a look. That's the right one. Yeah.
Steve was saying external DNS is fire, makes life so much easier, and we cannot agree more with that statement.
Yeah, it would be hard to imagine a cluster without external DNS. It's one of those critical, simple tools. Does a perfect job.
Now I can't remember where I've left my. Where did I leave my? Perfect live demo. I can't actually see where I've left my Kubefirst. My kube config.
So folks at home, if you want to give a try to Azure, we have the documentation up there. So go on kubefirst.construct.io/docs, and you're going to find the Azure at the top level menu. Click on there, and you're going to have fantastic documentation that's going to help you to use Azure. And as always, if you have any issues while you try Azure, or in that case, because it's in beta, you have any feedback or anything, join us on the Slack community. And there's the Helping Emms channel. We're going to be more than happy to help you through Azure or get your feedback. Because again, as we said, it's in beta. So I'm confident that Simon did a great job, but we released it.
No, it's actually, I mean, Fred's on there being his usual witty self, but I haven't used Azure professionally for a couple of years. So I'm doing this based on a lot of old knowledge. So for instance, one thing that I do on is that with our AWS, we've recently just incorporated multi-account tenancy. Now, I know how we could do it in Azure, but I don't know if that's the way that people do use it in reality. So what I'm particularly looking for is validation that where I've put things is actually where the Azure community is working at the moment. Because I don't want to sort of say, well, this was exactly what we're doing, and it's everything what we're doing 5 years ago. If the Azure community have moved on and doing things in a different way, because the whole point of Kubefirst is meant to be a help to development. It's no point doing it against the idioms and making it more difficult. So that's, from my point of view, to reiterate what Fred said. And obviously, I did a perfect job, and anybody who criticises me, I'll just I don't know why that's demo gods again. It honestly does. Love it.
Do you want to take a look at it in Argo CD?
Yeah, it's nothing's changed in Argo. Well, it says it's changed in Argo CD. Oh, go away. I'm just stopping it.
I mean,
what I did wrong.
I'm looking at that, and I think the issue is the domain name.
Yeah, it is the domain name.
simonhems.com may cause issues.
No, I put it the wrong way around.
Had you submitted a pull request and let Fred give you a review, I think he might have been able to catch that, Simon.
Yeah. I told you, people, I shared the banner when it happened. Don't do this at home, kids. Committing directly on the main branch. You see what happened now.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can if you have Kubefirst. Does it even matter if you can rebuild your cloud in 8 minutes?
You have a good point there.
I'm very happy to be working for a company that gets rid of the pointer Fred. If we can either have Kubefirst to rebuild our cluster or Fred to check our PRs.
I would choose Kubefirst, like myself also. I would choose Kubefirst 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So I guess it's fine. I guess it's a point where people need to trust us. It works. Try it at home, and you'll see how it goes.
I'll explain what happened. I actually noticed it. So, because the domain name is azure-demo.kubefirst.simonhems.com, which is obviously the best domain name in the world, I put the .dev before the Azure demo. So actually, the way I've set the domain name up obviously is azure-demo.kubefirst.simonhems.com. So I put the .dev after the Azure demo, so it wasn't being picked up for that reason. Which obviously, Fred would have picked. If I wasn't doing this in a live stream, if I'd had a pull request from Fred, it would have been picked up.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but now that you said it, I agree.
Yeah, it's, I think we can just agree that Fred is brilliant.
It's all right, Simon. It's still early in England,
Yeah, it's true. It's only 4:30.
4:30.
No, 3:30, sorry. But yeah, I'm just going to put this through, excuse me. Yeah, that's already gone through. And then in a minute or so, our external DNS will pick up those changes to all of the domains. That'll get pushed through to the DNS, and magical things will happen.
You cannot say that the extents of my sound effects are not good.
No, they're very good. This is the, oh, here we go. So it's picked up the changes, it's updating the A record. And so that's now happened. Because I've not been to this before, it should Go through immediately. Okay, it's not yet had the certificate generated, but that will come very shortly.
Oh, look at you.
So if anybody wants to join me, yeah.
You deserved another round of applause.
Thank you, mate. But yeah, we can then just check our certificates. That's now been issued. Yeah, it'll come out in a sec when that's done. But yeah, so that's Kubefirst in an Azure platform that we've got. As I said, it's going to be coming to real clusters in the next couple of weeks, certainly before the end of this year.
And then just a couple more curiosities to get on screen. Infrastructure as code managed by Atlantis. Do you have that part operational already also?
I'm going to say one or two things. I'm going to be the honest thing. I said I have, but I haven't checked it for a bit.
Do you want to find out live on TV?
Oh, I think so.
It's fun. Let's do it.
What could possibly go wrong?
John is like, it's fun. Let's do it.
It is. Live demos. Yeah, scripted demos with PowerPoint presentations. That's for some other company.
Yeah.
Simon knows my love for Atlantis, Steve was saying.
Yeah. Oh, I can never bloody remember how Atlantis works. What shall I change?
Let's go to the Terraform directory, and then go to Vault. Go to secrets.tf. And then down toward the bottom, you'll find a secret for Metaphor production. And you can just copy it and make it Metaphor demo.
Can you zoom a little bit, please?
Yeah, how are we going to zoom in? Where's the zoom button on VS Code?
Try Command plus.
Plus. Oh.
No love.
What's that on a Linux machine?
I was just thinking the zoom looks great.
Yeah, if you can't see it, move your head closer to your screen.
No, it's Shift Command Plus.
VS Code will be gone in a second.
Okay, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, look at you.
So yeah, so what here then, John?
Yeah, let's do just a demo in addition. Or yeah, dev's great, whatever.
That's kind of it.
Don't forget not the main branch.
That is the main branch. That
here, make a white space change, just like any old change will do, and then branch off and submit a pull request so Atlantis kicks off.
Oh right, yes, of course.
It just made me realize that like I always use like force and not force with leads, and I should really use force with leads, just to be on the safe side. When I force, I usually don't use force. I hate force. I need like there's always a way to do it. But like when you're in a hurry like that, force is great. But like I should really use force with leads when I use Git. And Steve was asking, did you change the resource name?
No, just.
Yeah, and Steve is right. Atlantis requires you to do Git properly, and I can't agree more, man.
Yeah, so this is what I changed. As I added an extra 4 each into the 4 each. So it should create a fourth secret.
If you go back to the conversation tab, I think, oh, look at you with an Atlantis plan.
Steve, you know that message I put in your Cloud Native club the other day that the demo gods have been pleased by it? I think you might need to upvote it.
Let's apply it. Give me an Atlantis apply.
And that's good because you have a virtual approval from Steve. Improve your PR. Did it work with the file name? Oh yeah, I didn't know. I always just did like Atlantis apply. I didn't know you could like specify the file.
Yeah. If you need to control like that vault happens first and then the infrastructure's code or whatever, you can isolate them.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm learning stuff.
Would you like? I'm going to be honest with everybody in this live stream. That's the first time I've done it for Azure because I entirely forgot to check it. And I don't mean. So when I said earlier on that I checked it not for ages, ages includes back to the start of the universe because I hadn't done it before. So this was a demo testing.
And this is why we call Azure a beta.
That's right. So last curiosity for you, Simon, is Metaphor. Do we have the Metaphor CI/CD set up in Azure?
No, there was a I found a problem with it yesterday and I haven't got it fixed yet. So the problem with that is I've just had a conversation with Jared about half an hour before this live stream. Jared's our CTO for people who don't know, and for people who do know, he's still our CTO. Because I haven't got the Argo workflow volume set up correctly.
Got it.
But that looks a fairly straightforward change. So again, that will be out before 2.8 is out. It's not going to work in our main branch, but that's why we haven't done a 2.8 release yet, because there's been a lot of, I've had to do a lot of work. I started this when we came back from Berlin after the end of Civo Navigate. I think I started this the first week of October, and it's been pretty much constant work on that. So a lot of things I've had to do on it. Very hard work. I'm basically brilliant. I'm underpaid, I'm undervalued, but I do brilliant work.
That's what we always say about you, Simon.
Yeah, that's what I always say about Simon. That's amazing. I think John, is there anything else you wanted to show folks? Or
no, I think you demoed it real well, Simon. I know that was a little bit of live pressure. Excellent navigations, and for our audience, just to be super clear, what Simon's showing is off a main branch right now. We're showing an early preview of a Azure instance that's still in beta. Once 2.8 is out, then some of the rough edges will be shaved off about Metaphor delivering. I think right now we also only have it running on the CLI for installation as well. So don't do launch up with Azure if you're running off the main branch. Just run directly off the CLI. I think it showed real well. And we're excited to have finally our toe in the waters of the last of the big three. So if we have any adopters out there that want to check out Kubefirst on Azure, we are anxious to see how well it fits your shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I plan to do at some point once we're gonna release Azure as out of beta. I plan for us to have another live stream about Azure. This time with a proper guest. So, I would say I would like to have I talk with a couple of contacts, and we're gonna have someone from Microsoft because I would also like the first part of the show to be a little bit like we do with other guests, really sell us your product. Why should someone use Azure? And having someone in Microsoft who can tell us a little more about Azure in itself as a product, maybe other features that could be useful for you in a cloud native space, and finishing with another great demo about Azure and Kubefirst, but this time with the amazing feature that you're used to on the other clouds that we're supporting right now.
Yeah. just to complete the demo as well, the Flappy kray.dev has now got the certificate issued as well. So that just took a few minutes to do. If you want to look at it as well, the command Azure command.go file has got all the flags available. That's where you need to look at it. And then Fred's done it here. Just put it, there's all the Azure documentation here as well, which I spent about a week working on a couple of weeks ago. It does work. So in terms of feature set, it works with Azure DNS and with Cloudflare DNS. Those are both fully supported and fully working. It works with both GitHub and GitLab. Those are both fully working as well. The only one that we're missing is we've only got the CLI installer, so there's no marketplace, there's no console, UI to do it with installation, and there's no physical cluster if once you've got your management cluster set up as well. So we're not far from feature completion in terms of where we are with all the other clouds.
Very cool.
And we're just excited to show it, even if it was still in beta, because like it's a new cloud. Simon, the only thing I'm not sure that I've seen a release with some Azure stuff in it, so people need to use the main branch. I thought like Azure, like with the work you've done, was released.
It's not fully released as far as I can tell. I'm only giving you that as information because that's where I think it is at the moment. I don't want to give duff information. It's
no,
the
sounds
last
good.
release here of the CLI was 2.7.4 2 weeks ago. It definitely wasn't in that.
Okay.
Because there was the final PR4 that was less than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the content that Simon's showing may very well slip into a 2.7 patch release before we officially release it as like the 2.8 Azure release.
The first one it will be in the published binary will be 2.8.
Yeah, I think Christian was looking to release also a new version of Kubefirst, so you may see that. But in any cases, use the main branch. So go in the docs, like we said before. I'm showing the links again, just to be sure. And obviously, there's a contributing.md file in the repository that have all the steps to how to use the main branch to be able to test Azure right now. And obviously, if you have any question or there's anything, feel free to either create an issue in the repository. But if you want some live action and live help, come on the join us on the Slack community at construct.io/Slack. There is a bunch of people that can help you there. The engineering team also helping people, which is amazing because I do not know everything about our platform. I try, but oh my god! So it's great to have like the expert helping the users.
And so, I'll reiterate what I said earlier as well. If you are a company, or if you work for a company that uses Azure and you're thinking, I want to try Kubefirst, I would like to, get to know you in our community because you're going to help shape the Kubefirst product for Azure as well. And that's, that'd be a powerful thing. So, abuse it, get it to work into your situation, and then that'll be really good as well. So, yeah, please, as your users, come and talk to me in the Slack channel.
Well said.
Yeah, and awesome. So thanks for the demo, Simon. Thanks for introducing us to the Azure support. Obviously, thanks for the work. I mean, like we wouldn't be able to do that live stream and talk about it. I know, but I still think it's a great thing to thanks for people when they do amazing work. So thanks for doing that. And on that note, you're gonna need to be kind with me. I totally forgot to find a jokes for today. So while Simon was demoing, I found a joke. Yeah.
Let's go with it. What you got?
It's a little bit. It's a nasty one today. I think it's a good one, but it's a nasty one. So I need to prepare myself mentally for this one. What did the network administrator say when they caught a nasty virus?
I don't know. What did the network administrator say when they caught a nasty virus?
Let's have it.
The network administrator said, sorry, it hurts when I pee. IP, Internet Protocol address.
That really is perfect ending, Fred. Really.
Boo!
No, there wasn't. When I cannot say the answer without starting to laugh is because, like, from my point of view, it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have taken my antibodies seriously. Oh my god.
I
Get out
honestly
of
thought, I honestly
get
thought
out
it
of
was
that
going to be
live stream.
your why do developers always use dark mode? Because
Yeah, it
gonna
attracts
transfer.
bugs. Yeah, I know. I need to share that publicly. My IPv6. I need to share that publicly. After the last live stream, Mr. Cloud Native Club, Steve, was on our Slack community and was like, "Fred, I have one for you." And it said, like, the jokes you said, Simon, like, why do developer prefer dark mode or dark team? And I was like, do you know who you're talking to? Like, it's been I don't know how many live stream that I'm making like bad dad developer joke. Like, I know that answer.
You have gained incredible expertise in dad
I
jokes.
know. It's like, in the future, like, if I need to find another job, like, what would I put on my resume? I mean, like, I know incredible, really bad developers dad jokes. Like, what did you do at Construct? This is what I've done, basically.
I mean, if you stitch together the last minute of our show, that would be an exceptional 10-minute segment.
I need to do that. I really need to do that. We are reaching what show it is. This one is like 45.
Something like that,
Something.
yeah.
Something. So yeah, no, I think I will do a montage
That would be really fun.
for the end of the year. I mean, like, Happy Christmas, like, delight yourself in all those really, really bad jokes.
Soak them all in at once. It'd be great.
After this is finished, this is a spoiler for the work after the live show. I'm going to tell Fred Barry Cry's parrot joke. And I'm not saying it on the broadcast, but anybody who knows Barry Cryer in the UK, hopefully Steve, you do, go and look at the parrot joke. It's very good.
Fred, get me out of here.
Yeah, so I think it's the end of the live stream. Folks, thanks for being live. Steve, seriously, thanks for commenting and asking questions. This is part of what I love with live stream, when people are just like part of like the live stream. It's not just like John and I and the guest, or John and I and Simon. So it's nice to have people commenting, even if it's just to say hi. We love that. So thanks for doing that, folks. And also, always a pleasure to keep smashing it, guys. Also, we're gonna see everyone for the last live stream of the 2024 in 2 weeks. So there's going to be the last one, because that's going to be like December 5th, and after that the next one would have been like December 19, which is too close to holidays. People's going to be busy, like, trying to finish work before the holiday season. So there is one last for 2024, but do not worry, my friends. I have a pretty good list of interesting, exciting guests and product and companies that will come in the show in 2025. So you are not done with us yet. We're going to be back after the last live stream this year in 2025, continuing to share, some cloud native love, and hopefully some fun in your journey, in your day-to-day, in your journey, in your day, in your journey to the cloud native. Exactly. So on that note, any one last word, Simon, John?
Simon, it was really great having you on the show today. Always a pleasure having any of our engineers on the show, but always a little extra fun to have a little quick wit on screen. And demo was exceptional. Thanks for exploring Azure under fire with the live screen with us today.
Yeah, no, I think I enjoyed it as well. What you probably don't know as well, my middle name is John. So when Fred said any last words, Simon John, I thought my dad was telling me off.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not spelt the same way as John though. It doesn't have an H in it, because in Kidderminster in the 1980s we couldn't afford 4 letters. So yeah, thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. And anybody wants to talk Azure with me, come find me in the Slack channel.
Awesome. Thanks everybody who joined us live. Thanks everybody who's watching the recording, and see you in 2 weeks for the next live stream. Bye, folks.